Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel guys. Thank you for joining me in this live section. So guys, Dele Momodu has come out to say something meaningful guys, Guys, Dele Momodu came out to say that he has thought about it, that what Nigerian government is doing to the Igbos and Mazin and the Kanu is not right. Guys, let's look at what he posted on X. We have a lot of things to talk about today. Arise TV talked about Mazin the Kanu and also, the marginalization of the Igbos. Rufai shared his own opinion, guys. So this is what Dele Momodu said. He said shortly before his, adoption, he talked about Kanu. He said shortly before his adoption from Kenya by the Nigerian government, Mazin the Kanu, made this thought provoking broadcast in which the philosophized he about the reason he and his supporters became radicalized. He said, I have taken time to listen to his critics and discovered most of them only jumped to conclusions without proper analysis of why agitation for Biafra became reignited, attractive, and fanciful after the pogroms that wasted millions of life and destroyed unimaginable properties in the 1960s and 70s. So the continuing marginalization of the Igbo and the deprivation accorded some of the most energetic and vibrant brains in Africa and globally rekindled the Biafra sentiment. Attempts by enemies of Kanu, including his own kinsmen, to exterminate him will never solve the problem. The Igbo struggle goes beyond legalese. It requires serious political reconfiguration and urgently too. So I will never support violence, but any sensible government will keep the geniuses of the Southeast very busy with productive engagement instead of the rapid hatred. Now, looking at what Dele Momodu said, let me just summarize everything in his statement. Yeah, this is a very good one. He said he has taken his time and he has watched that what led to the agitation was that the Igbos were being marginalized, guys, before the Civil War and after the Civil War. You guys know the story of the 1960s and 70s. You guys know what brought about the war and everything. If you check, it's not even Igbo's fault. It just happened. They went after the Igbo, started killing them for no reason. And then, even after the war, it still continued. They excluded them from power. They excluded them from everything. And then, Kanu rose up. Even after Ojuku started fighting, saying, no, we want to stand on our own, guys. Until he died, Kanu rose up. So why are they going after Mazin Nnamdi Kanu? Why don't you settle the root cause of the agitation? Something led to it. That is what Momodu is saying. Than going after Kanu, why can't you just resolve the problem? You guys resolve or negotiate with bandits. Why can't you resolve this one and treat everyone right? Nobody wants, everybody believes in Nigeria. Everybody wants to be treated equally, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of your ethnic group, whether Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa. So, guys, if the government can treat everyone equally, there will not be problem. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu will not be agitating, but rather they went and locked him up. So you can see, Dele Momodu have seen, that what they are doing to Kanu is not good. Now, guys, I want you to take a look at, what Arise TV said about, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. Take a look and I'll be right back.
Adds a deeply personal and perhaps a dangerous dimension to the Christian genocide debate in Nigeria. Dachima's willingness to risk his life by documenting what he believes is a systematic persecution and his stance of refusing ransom payment if kidnapped demonstrates the intensity of his conviction. I'll take some reactions before I come to you, Ayo. Yemi wrote, "Good video. But you are framing this as if only Christians are being kidnapped. Even Muslims complain about these same attacks. These headers invade farms, destroy crops, and kill people. It's not religion, it's tribal impunity. Both sides condemn it. Both suffer. So why fuel division when you know the truth? What you are stoking, future generations won't recover from. We Nigerians call ourselves intelligent. So ask yourself, why the sudden foreign interest? The same countries showing concern watch gun violence, drugs, unsolved murders, and kidnappings destroy their own people daily, including Christians. On their watch, they ignored Christian Palestinians being killed and displaced. So put your thinking cap. Fellow Nigerians, yes, we have problems, but we must fix them ourselves. Another ex-user wrote, that man is speaking from a place of real fear. When people start saying things like this, you know the system has failed completely. Nobody should be living with that kind of terror in their own country. Ayo, over to you.
Thank you so much. That man, I don't even beyond fear, was frustration. And people who have spoken and spoken with nothing being done. In recent times, in the Bakin-Ladi local government, Waruru, Tatu, and Lawuru areas, they say that a group of worshippers were indiscriminately shot at. I think the most worrying part of that report was that they said they'd actually gotten intelligence, informed security agencies, and nothing was done. When the system or when your country fails you consistently, then unfortunately people now resort to either self-help or calling outsiders to come and save them. And this is what the Nigerian state doesn't like. This interference, seeming interference by, America, Senator Ted Cruz raising it up and now being potentially listed as a country of particular concern. Can we, beyond, Daniel Bwala going to hold stakeholder meetings with, bishops, can we actually listen to the voice of the Middle East, in the North Central, especially in Plateau, Jos? We have heard of these things, but for a long time, we have turned our eyes and closed our ears off from this. If you speak to a lot of Christian leaders in these areas, Oji, the story is horrible. A number of Christians are being killed. We can no longer continue to bury our heads in sand, ostrich-wise, and pretend that, it is not happening. They are coming out to speak. They are releasing videos. It's a shame that the international community had to speak up for us to begin to run helter-skelter to find a solution to this problem. I hope that Bishop Reverend Dachomo will not have to be kidnapped or killed for his blood to speak out. Too much blood has been spilled already in these areas. Yes. Can we rise up? The service chiefs had a closed-door meeting with the president yesterday, and his charge to them was that they should immediately address security concerns. I hope that top on that agenda is this concern for Christians in Nigeria who are finally speaking up to say that this is happening in their community. Let us not play ostrich. Listen to them and take action. No more blood spill in the North Central, especially in Plateau. Just these areas have cried out for too long and nothing has been done.
Thank you.
It's time for them to take action.
Rufai, you had something to say about the ex-user. Just a quick second so you can take this.
So a quick one. That ex-user was trying to mitigate the plight of the man. You see, the pastor that came out and showed that video.
They're the first ex-user.
The first ex-user.
Yemi.
The pastor, Yemi, and in response to Yemi, the pastor was showing the plight that he felt as at that point in time. We're not saying people are not being killed. Muslims are being killed. Christians are being killed. Should they even be killed in the first place? But the question I'd like to ask Yemi is, the people in those graves the pastors were showing, who were they?
They were Christians.
Sefini Laba.
Well, all right. We'll continue to follow up on this story. We'll take another story now. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi has reacted to allegations of mismanagement labeled against the Nigeria Football Federation after a viral social media post from FIFA featuring an image of half-completed burning Kebbi Stadium in Kebbi State, built on the FIFA Forward program and co-founded with the Nigerian Football Federation, sparked controversy and criticism over the weekend. Well, the photo, which was used as FIFA's profile banner on X and Facebook, went viral days after football critic Chinedu Mobike publicly accused the NFF of mismanaging millions of dollars allocated for the stadium and another unfinished facility in Delta State. In response to the backlash, the NFF issued a statement on Saturday defending its operations by asserting that all funding received from FIFA is a purpose-specific and that both FIFA and the Confederation of African Football annually audit the federation's account. Well, In a post on X, Peter Obi criticized the Nigerian Football Federation, stating that the unfinished Kebbi Stadium exemplifies how corruption permeates all facets of the nation, while also noting that the NFF has reportedly received approximately $25 million from FIFA and CAF since 2013, with little or nothing to show for it. Well, Obi recounted his own experience as governor of Anambra State, where a promised fully funded FIFA stranded stadium in Oka never materialized, forcing his administration to divert resources towards constructing smaller grassroots sports facilities. And I'll read Peter Obi's post on X in part. It was quite lengthy, so I'm taking some of it. Peter Obi wrote, FIFA's recent revelation about the mismanagement of funds released to Nigeria's Football Federation for stadium development and youth talent growth is both sickening and shameful. It perfectly mirrors the broader decay in how our scarce national resources are handled. I am certain that further investigations would reveal even worse realities than what we currently know. I have always maintained that those who accuse us of demarketing Nigeria for speaking the truth and exposing corruption are the very ones who thrive on corruption and deceit. The real demarketers of Nigeria are the incompetent leaders who have forged their way to wealth through the mismanagement and theft of public funds, resources that should have been used to provide schools, healthcare, and employment for our youth and to nurture their talents. We cannot continue to watch our sports decline while corruption flourishes. Our youth are our most prized assets, yet we have destroyed their future and then turned around to label them Yahoo boys, when in truth, the leaders who have robbed them in their future are the real Yahoo of our nation. Rufai.
The truth is this not a reflection of Nigeria? Is it today we've been hearing about corruption everywhere? If the NFF think they have another story to tell, let them give us an audited account. Every cost spent on that stadium they have in Kebbi, empirical cost across board, the cost of the turf, the cost of the grounds, what they have spent on it, the cost of the stands. And let us match them with prevailing costs. But is it today we've heard scandals about stadium? No. So let's stop acting like, oh, the NFF is a bastion of civility of some sort, or the sports ministry are a bastion of civility of some sort. It's a reflection of Nigeria. And when corruption happens, it dampens the potential of a lot of people.
Absolutely. Abuja, where activists Omoyele Sowore, Aloy Ejimako, and 11 other free Nnamdi Kanu protesters were released from Kuje prison on Monday. Sowore and the protesters were charged by the police for inciting public disturbance and disobeying court orders barring them from participating in protests at key government locations. The magistrate court had granted bail to the defendants last week and ordered them to present two sureties, each in the sum of 500,000 naira. However, moments after the bail ruling, security operatives reportedly bundled Sowore into a van, prompting outrage from his lawyers and supporters who accused the police of violating the court's order. Sowore, after his release, vowed to continue the protest.
Well, finally, we've just been released from illegal, unjust, unwarranted, and inhuman detention by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime, orchestrated by his illegal IGP Kayode Egbetokun. And we're heading home. Hopefully. In fact, I was supposed to be heading to Lagos for a protest for tomorrow. But we are still checking on the flight, if there's any flight tonight.
Have you seen the warning from the Lagos State government?
They can warn themselves, they can't warn me. You can't warn me about my rights.
Yes.
They are the ones who have to warn themselves about their responsibilities. So it wasn't going to stop me. It is not the first time people who are paid to protect have become very likely irresponsible and warning people not to exercise their rights. So you can't.
Right. Their release brings temporary closure to their detention, though they still face charges of inciting public disturbance and must return for trial, raising ongoing questions about the limits of protest rights in Nigeria. Well, meanwhile, the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Monday refused to open his defense in the terrorism case filed against him by the federal government. While during the court proceedings, Kanu, who dismissed his legal team and chose to represent himself, told the court he found no legal basis for the charges after reviewing his case file. Well, Kanu argued that he should not be required to enter any defense for charges and urged the court to release him or grant him bail. Well, here's a video moment of the IPOB leader in court.
Okay. Where's the lying news agency of Nigeria? Are they here? Those liars and deceivers, are they here? That distort the news. You don't know what law is. You don't know what justice is. Where's the news agency of Nigeria? What are they? You don't know that God is a God of justice? You don't know that? That God in heaven is a God of justice? You don't know that?
All right, Dr. Bati, talking about this whole court process, this dramatic shift in strategy from listing 23 high-profile witnesses to refusing to mount any defense at all, legal experts argue that it represents a high-risk legal gamble by challenging the very legal foundation of the charges rather than contesting the facts. Well, Kanu essentially asked the court to dismiss the case entirely. Dr. Bati, your thoughts on both stories?
First, let's look at some of the details. Before now, Nnamdi Kanu and his counsel, they had entered a plea of no case objection before the Court of Justice, James Omotosho, the trial judge. And the court said he had a case to answer. In other words, that no case submission was dismissed. And it was on the basis of that the court now said he and his lawyers should enter the defense. The prosecution, having provided evidence and completed its presentation. Now, when they appeared in court again, Nnamdi Kanu said he was sacking his lawyers in open court. It is a prerogative of the accused person to say, well, I don't want to use these lawyers again. Upon which he then decided to defend himself. It is also within his right to say that he would defend himself. But having talked about 23 witnesses, he has now turned around to say what you refer to as high-risk gamble, that he had no defense to enter because he didn't think that there was any case in the matter. However, it is high risk because, one, he doesn't understand the legal issues involved. He has no legal experience. He doesn't know what the precedents are. So that's why the lawyers who quoted said it's a gamble. How is he going to defend himself? But he has other options to him, available to him. The court of law, somebody is interrupting. The court of law is a court of justice for the accused person, for the victim.
I say we should move to the next story.
And also for the state. And in that regard, the options available to Nnamdi Kanu now, one, he can say, well, he has heard what the prosecution has said, but he thinks he has no case. That will now be for the court to determine. However, the court being the court of justice is also going to weigh the evidence. Because the court will not just say, oh, because you say there is no case. The court has a duty to weigh the evidence provided by the prosecution, because the scale of justice, has to be balanced. And it's after that they may then ask him, that's Nnamdi Kanu, to enter a written address to respond to the allegations, to the evidence by the prosecution. Maybe he has the skill to even understand, what the prosecution is saying. And then after that, the court will now weigh in all the evidence as fairly as it can to ensure justice, now give a ruling. Now, after the judgment, the option that is also available to Nnamdi Kanu is that he can go on appeal. So the matter has not been resolved yet. Very quickly, as for Sowore and the 13 others. One, the right of assembly is guaranteed under Section 40 of the Constitution. And Sowore and the 13 others, they said they were having a peaceful protest. And there's no evidence that they engaged in any act of violence. They were arrested in the court of law on the grounds of unlawful assembly and causing public disturbance. That has not yet been proven. They also have the right to protest and the right of expression under Section 39 of the Constitution. Now they've been given very stringent conditions. 500,000 bail, you must bring your NIN, you must submit your international passport. But we just hope that justice will be done. The only objection that I see here is with the counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Aloy Ejimako, who decided to jump into the arena as an officer in the Temple of Justice. That's a resort to self-help on the part of counsel. But that's a matter, that can be considered at another level. But counsel should not descend into the arena and resort to self-help. It's the court of law that is the workshop of lawyers, not to carry banner on the streets.
All right, well said, Dr. Avati, well said. But he maintained that he wants to continue to protest. Sowore is the activist of our time. He's not relenting on that score. We'll head over to Plateau State now. Following the controversy surrounding the Christian genocide claims of an evangelist, Ezekiel Dachomo, original leader
So, guys, you've heard the view of Arise TV, Dr. Bati and, Rufai on the case of Martin Nnamdi Kanu. And Dele Momodu actually, summed everything up, guys. He has said his own part, They should not just jump to conclusion, just like Dele Momodu said that, Nigerian government should not just jump to conclusion that, Biafra is here to destroy Nigeria. Something led to it. He said Igbo marginalization is real. Is real. Anybody that doesn't know that Igbos are being marginalized, that person is being deceived. Igbos are truly being marginalized. The Southeast guys, they are marginalized. So you can see this that's why Martin Nnamdi Kanu came up, fighting for the freedom of his people, not for any other thing. And what did he raise up? His microphone. That was what he raised up. So I feel that Nigerian government has a purpose of keeping him there, maybe for political gains. I feel that they have it because Kanu was discharged and acquitted long time ago. All charges was thrown out. Then they remanded him for no reason. Oh yeah, try and convict him prove him guilty and convict him is a problem for Nigerian government. To tell you that since Kanu has been in detention, nobody has proven this man guilty. Nobody has brought a credible evidence to tell the world this is what this man has done. So you see, they're just keeping him. That's to tell you the mission of Martin Nnamdi Kanu is not to kill or for violence or for terrorism. It's just people now. People are now accusing IPOB. Any small thing that happened, they will accuse IPOB just to make it look like Kanu is a bad person or make it look like this organization is bad. So you can see. So Dele Momodu said, if you read this, although I've read it, if you read what he said here, he said, that Nigerian government should not jump to conclusion without proper analysis of why agitation for Biafra became reignited, guys, attractive and fanciful, guys, after the pogroms that wasted millions, guys. You guys know what happened during the time of Ojukwu, how go on, guys. When Ojukwu went for the Aburi Accord in Ghana, guys, there was this he did not even talk about the Biafra. They came for one Nigeria, yes. He was present for one Nigeria. His only plan was to bring peace to Igbo land because people were buying the Igbos in the north. So his own is to stop that insecurity and then bring peace, bring security to Igbo land. So you can see, and then go on after the agreements. Ojukwu never talked about separation of Biafra. He actually believed in one Nigeria. After Gowon obtained the agreement, and that was where everything started from, guys. That was where the whole thing started. The war started, and then since then, the Igbos are still being marginalized, treated like slaves. A lot, they are being excluded from everything, even in power. Check in Nigeria today. How many Igbo men will you see there sitting there? Unless the Igbo men you will see there, maybe they are loyalists. So you can see that is what is going on now in Nigeria, and that is why Dele Momodu have said they should not drop into conclusion that what they are doing to Martin Nnamdi Kanu is not good. Take a look and check why this man came out to agitate. He did not just come out because he wants to come out or because he wants to destroy Nigeria. He came out for a purpose. Now, quickly, let's go down to take a look at what Arise TV said, and then quickly, as well as other news as well, talking about the genocide of Christians. That was what Arise TV analyzed, guys. Take a look at this video and I'll be back shortly.
Abuja, where activists Omoyele Sowore, Aloy Ejimako, and 11 other free Nnamdi Kanu protesters were released from Kuje prison on Monday. Sowore and the protesters were charged by the police for inciting public disturbance and disobeying court orders barring them from participating in protests at key government locations. The magistrate court had granted bail to the defendants last week and ordered them to present 2 sureties, each in the sum of 500,000 naira. However, moments after the bail ruling, security operatives reportedly bundled Sowore into a van, prompting outrage from his lawyers and supporters who accused the police of violating the court's order. Sowore, after his release, vowed to continue the protest.
Well, finally, we've just been released from illegal, unjust, unwarranted, and inhuman detention by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime, orchestrated by his illegal IGP Kayode Egbetokun. And we're heading home, hopefully. In fact, I was supposed to be heading to Lagos for a protest for tomorrow. But we are still checking on the flight, if there's any flight tonight.
But have you seen the warning from the Lagos State government?
They can warn themselves, they can't warn me. You can't warn me about my rights.
Yes.
They are the ones who have to warn themselves about their responsibilities. So it wasn't going to stop me. It is not the first time people who are paid to protect have become very likely irresponsible and warning people not to exercise their rights. So you can't.
Their release brings temporary closure to their detention, though they still face charges of inciting public disturbance and must return for trial, raising ongoing questions about the limits of protest rights in Nigeria. Well, meanwhile, the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Monday refused to open his defense in the terrorism case filed against him by the federal government. While during the court proceedings, Kanu, who dismissed his legal team and chose to represent himself, told the court he found no legal basis for the charges after reviewing his case file. Well, Kanu argued that he should not be required to enter any defense for charges and urged the court to release him or grant him bail. Well, here's a video moment of the IPOB leader in court.
Okay. Where's the lying news agency of Nigeria? Are they here? Those liars and deceivers, are they here? That distort the news. You don't know what law is. You don't know what justice is. Where's the news agency of Nigeria? What are they? You don't know that God is a God of justice. You don't know that? That God in heaven is a God of justice. You don't know that?
All right, Dr. Bati, talking about this whole court process, this dramatic shift in strategy from listing 23 high-profile witnesses to refusing to mount any defense at all, legal experts argue that it represents a high-risk legal gamble by challenging the very legal foundation of the charges rather than contesting the facts. Well, Kanu essentially asked the court to dismiss the case entirely. Dr. Bati, your thoughts on both stories?
First, let's look at some of the details. Before now, Nnamdi Kanu and his counsel, they had entered a plea of no case objection before the Court of Justice, James Omotosho, the trial judge. And the court said he had a case to answer. In other words, that no case submission was dismissed. And it was on the basis of that the court now said he and his lawyers should enter the defense. The prosecution, having provided evidence and completed its presentation. Now, when they appeared in court again, Nnamdi Kanu said he was sacking his lawyers in open court. It is a prerogative of the accused person to say, well, I don't want to use these lawyers again. Upon which he then decided to defend himself. It is also within his right to say that he would defend himself. But having talked about 23 witnesses, he has now turned around to say what you refer to as high-risk gamble, that he had no difference to enter because he didn't think that there was any case in the matter. However, it is high risk because, one, he doesn't understand the legal issues involved. He has no legal experience. He doesn't know what the precedents are. So that's why the lawyers who quoted said it's a gamble. How is he going to defend himself? But he has other options to him, available to him. The court of law, somebody is interrupting. The court of law is a court of justice for the accused person, for the victim.
I say we should move to the next story.
And also for the state. And in that regard, the options available to Nnamdi Kanu now, one, he can say, well, he has heard what the prosecution has said, but he thinks he has no.
The timing of these public defenses of polygamy among serious domestic violence allegations. Well, while polygamy is legal and culturally accepted in many Nigerian communities, the senator's characterization of monogamy as standing on one leg and expressing pity for monogamous men has sparked debate about respecting diverse marital choices in a multicultural society. Online.
Oji, with due respect, so what happened on that day? I think we should be able to. No, we should be able to investigate.
Yes.
And appropriate sanctions should be meted out. Because what appeared to us that day was a case of violence, and which the lawyers in the house, violence is not supposed to be reported to the authorities.
Well, domestic violence is assault. We have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act.
We don't know if Regina has reported to the police. Has he? I'm just asking a question.
Regina the state is supposed to be able to take these matters up
without reporting,
because we saw broken glass.
I just want to know.
Is it not?
I don't know. You tell us.
Is it not in this country that EFCC claimed that they saw a story in the newspaper, because of that they called somebody for questioning? So the state should be allowed to. Is it when they kill Regina?
Especially because he's a senator.
Is it when they kill Regina?
Especially
if it's another man that this thing happened in their quarters now, we will not hear the last of it.
Yeah.
But we should be able to also have what transpired. So there should be an investigation that should be opened up. And since then, all of his colleagues that are sitting there with him, have we even transpired to ask? Where are the women saying? Anyway, Natasha can't talk, because if Natasha talk, they will turn it about her. But what about the other women said? At least we should be able to ask.
Yes.
Because we keep talking about a country where we can protect women's rights.
Yes.
Secondly, see, a man has his right to his marital choices. Like he says, that's his own belief. You will see other men that will say, I've been married to one wife and she's been the love of my life.
Yes.
And for me, I believe it's a one man, one woman thing.
One man, one woman.
That's just my prerogative. But I can't also fault him for his marital choice. That's what he makes it. But what I am concerned about is what transpired on that night. And Regina too should be allowed to talk.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of women that are dying in silence.
Yes.
And I have experience in this matter. I did a show on Radio Cultural Life where I had to hear the cry of a lot of women. And one woman die in silence in this country. So what happened that night should be investigated.
Yes.
And I think that's what we should ask him.
Yes.
What transpired that night?
Yes.
It's not that someone say I'm not a violent person. We saw broken bottles everywhere. Is it when people play Nollywood Love in Tokyo? When broken bottles were everywhere?
I agree with you 100%. This matter has to be investigated. Domestic violence is no joke. But I don't want us to move away from the main story, which is about polygamy as well. But we have to go.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Marital choices. I think think, although if you do marry legally in the court, you're only allowed one wife.
Yes.
Dr. Bati, right? Because it's under
the law of bigamy.
In Nigeria.
Yeah, under the law of Nigeria, but under customary law, you
It's
can
a
marry.
relatively dead law.
Yeah, well, under customary law, you can marry more than one wife.
Yeah.
But this is assertion that is better for ask the men that are married to multiple wives.
All right.
If given the chance, they would have the opportunity, or they would take the choice of marrying multiple
Dr.
wives.
Bati, are you smiling?
I'm not smiling.
No, I
Because I'm not interested in whatever choice Nedun Woku makes. I
Yes.
think the substantive point is about domestic violence,
That is it, yes.
which is frowned upon under the violation, the
Violence against persons.
Violence Against
Yes.
Persons Prohibition Act of 2015.
All right.
And then we should be asking Nedun Woku what he is doing in the National Assembly. We are not interested in what happens in his bedroom.
Yeah.
How many bills has he moved?
All right.
How many motions has he moved? In June, he said he has moved 20 motions,
Yeah.
and he has defended 30 bills.
All right.
It should be about productivity.
Right.
Not all these are lawmakers who go to the National Assembly and they are just moonlighting around the place.
Right. Sorry, I
without
interrupted
concrete
Ayo. I'm
effort.
sorry.
Yes,
Just
I was
land.
going to
Sorry.
get to that point.
Yeah.
The reason why it's important for a lawmaker with his personal life like this is because they are the ones that are the custodians of our laws.
Yes. Right.
If you believe in a particular cause, you don't see anything wrong with beating women. If they bring a bill against domestic violence, you vote against it. And that is why around the world, public officers who hold the trust of
private
the
life
people,
matters, yes.
yes, it matters.
Yeah,
and that's why
matters.
when you are fraudulent to your private life, it is a precursor.
Is this not the same National Assembly where one funny senator
Brought many wives.
brought 3 wives?
Yes.
And said that this is clear evidence that I'm a responsible man.
We must
I remember
I
that.
guess sitting with 2 women, 3 women every day shows that I'm a responsible man. On Arise News.
Next time I'm going to bring the topic of polygamy on this table. You must discuss it.
No, I don't know anything.
Insanity in stealing.
All right.
So if the NFF has their own side of the story, they should bring out the books. The contractor that built it should tell us how much he spent. Let's see the books. Let's see the bill of lading. Let's see all the quotes.
All right. Well, speaking about infrastructure development, in another development, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has extended condolences to Eshan community in Kacha local government area of Niger State following the tragic tanker explosion that claimed over 40 lives last week. The minister sent a delegation to condole with the family of the victims while expressing deep sorrow. Umahi stated that the federal government remains committed to improving road conditions to prevent similar accidents. He highlighted the urgent need to accelerate the ongoing reconstruction of the Lambata-Lapai-Agei-Bida road and directed the contractor, Messrs. CGC Limited, to quickly deploy more resources and approach the work from multiple locations or face decisive action. And this is a good commendation by Dave Umahi, as always responding, when challenges are brought to his front. Remember, if you recall, Dr. Bati, you weren't here when we took the story of the Niger tragedy. That road infrastructure, the critical road, Atiku had raised alarm about the fact that that road is a major road that transports petroleum to the northern states. And David Umahi has charged the contractors to either finish the job that is already under construction or be fired. Meanwhile, a viral video showing the deplorable state and severe flooding of the Ayetoro-Itele Road in Ogun State has sparked a debate over the government's responsiveness on critical infrastructure, especially roads. In the video, a man could be heard appealing directly to the Ogun State Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rescue their people as cars were shown stuck deep in water and crowds were unable to navigate their way through flooded roads. Let's take a look.
The situation of this road, Itele Road, Ayetoro, Lagos Interbango, this is Ogun side. This is Lagos side. You can see how car were parked, and the road is the Lagos side is very okay. People have to queue and wait for this water to flow before they can pass. Even presently, there are some cars stuck, which sure that those cars will be damaged, stuck inside the water there. You can see people cannot perceive many of these cars. Even people, everybody just have to wait. Government, that Kwadodo will call on you. Yayi, the senator of Ado daughter, will call on you. You guys should come and rescue your people. This is not the government we want. This is not the one we vote for. This is not the one we pray for.
All right, Dr. Bati, this video has sparked a debate on who is responsible for that road. Reports indicate that the road is a constituency project of the National Assembly under Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adiola Yayi, but funded by the federal government of Nigeria. Well, in response, the Ogun State Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, in his response, acknowledged the viral video, stating that his administration is actively tackling major federal roads projects within the state. He highlighted that in the same local government, he successfully engaged the federal government to allow the state to reconstruct the Lagos-Ota-Abeokuta 70 kilometers dual carriage road, which he noted is the second busiest road in Nigeria and is currently under construction. Furthermore, he pointed out that similar action was taken in another local government to reconstruct the nearly 30 kilometers Agbara-Atan-Lusada dual carriage federal road, which leads to the Agbara Industrial Estate and had been abandoned for years. Dakwa Abiodun noted that the state government is currently repairing the major Sango Ijoko Lambe Road, another federal road, Lambe Road, another federal road spanning over 25 kilometers. So it's good to see governors showing workings at this point. So you see, it's also when we see such videos, we always have to question who is responsible. But apparently, it's a constituency project funded by the federal government, Ogun people. These we've always talked about constituency projects, though. But Dr. Mati, this is your constituent.
No, road construction is not about constituency project.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility of the executive. What you call a constituency project is grossly abused by Nigerian officials. However, the problem we usually have is that many of these roads that these governors have to deal with, they are federal roads. And there has been conflict between the state governments and the federal government over who should take care of these roads. Even when governors like Governor Dakwa Abiodun volunteer to repair the roads. The issue, as we saw during General Buhari's period, is about repayment for the roads. There's always some disagreement between the federal officials and the state officials. The state governors will say, I have a responsibility to provide good roads for my people. The federal government will say, well, you have inflated the price. So there's always a problem about the costing. And I think what is important is that in terms of classification, we have state roads, we have federal roads. I think both parties, either it is state or federal, should be responsible, should be alive to their responsibilities, because no Nigerian deserves to have issues in terms of transportation, in terms of infrastructure. The Tinubu administration has said that it's committed to providing quality infrastructure for the Nigerian people. And I think we should continue to see evidence in that regard. Now, the road, the Lampai road that you refer to, the project was awarded many years back. And the phase one of it, the contractors have refused to function. Now the Tinubu government is there. The Minister of Works had to send his director technical for the Niger Central area to go and look at that road. And now the contractors are being given marching orders. It's just for government to be attentive, because nobody deserves to go on bad roads.
I like that.
The Lampai road, the tanker explosion, was caused because the road was in a bad state. And imagine the loss of lives and all of that. But you are doing a great job by pointing out this problematic route, whether it's in Ogun State or it's in Anambra or it's in Delta State, anywhere, because the awareness often helps.
I like that point, and it's good that the governments that have been called out are responsive and they are responding and showing workings, like the way Dakwa Abiodun showed all the roads that he has already constructed during his time in office. Please send in more videos. We'll turn our attention now.
The bad road catcher of
Nigeria. Infrastructure, anything, schools, everything. Just send it. I'll highlight them.
Talk about
I'll highlight them. Why? Because you have
I will give you examples in Lagos State. Don't start.
You have no reason to talk about Ogun State.
Don't start. I will give you many examples.
You send them to me and I will highlight them. You know I will do that. I have no bias.
Okay. Really?
Well, all right. Rufai, leave out here. Leave me alone now.
Is your traffic light working? Around your area. The traffic light you've been complaining.
All right. Send in the videos. Well, I'd say also kudos to Dakpa Abiodun for those roads. I actually went through all of the roads that he has repaired so far. Well, let's now turn our attention to comments made by Senator Ned Nwoko, who made headlines last week after his estranged wife, Nollywood actress Regina Daniels, accused him of domestic violence in a viral video. Well, the senator has offered justifications for his polygamous lifestyle, stating that he pities men with one wife. Ned Nwoko made the comments on live television, saying that the difficulty of standing on a single leg influences decision to have more than one wife. Let's take a look.
Just imagine telling you to stand on one leg. You know how difficult it is. But to stand on 2, 3, 4 is much more balanced. That's just the example I gave. Wow. You understand it? So I feel sorry for those who have one wife, because it's difficult to stand on one leg.
And you don't have any regrets?
No.
If you have your way, you still
I will do the same thing again and again. Of course, yes.
And you have a knack of marrying beautiful women, young ones too.
This is the way it is. And that's the way it should be.
But you're not the ones that beat them.
You should marry who you want to marry.
You're not the one that beats them.
No, come on. I am not a violent person. I respect my wives. I love them. And I love my kids. No, not at all.
All right. He has clarified that he is not a wife beater. He's not violent. He loves his wife. Ned Nwoko is married to 4 wives. I don't know about, the...
So guys, Arise TV talked about a lot of things, from Dele Momodu, about Martin and the Kano to the Obi that faulted NFF, and then to Ned Walker, concerning what he said about his wife, in fact, the altercation, the fight between his wife and and other things. So let's start from what Dele Momodu said. Although I've actually summarized it at the beginning of this video, Dele Momodu has talked about it and said that what they're doing to Martin and the Kano is not good, and therefore they should release him for peace to reign. Other APC governors are even saying, other APC members are saying the best thing that Tinubu will do is to release Kano. And think about how everything started, that it's not even Kano's fault. Going after Kano will only bring violence, chaos. Going after Kano will not settle what is at hand. Going after Kano will only bring, just like pouring fuel into a burning fire, making the situation more, making the fire more. So, guys, you can see now the controversy surrounding Kano's case. Just like now, Kano's lawyers is no more defending him because he feels that for these lawyers defending him is wasting time. He wants to now challenge them directly. Let him say what he has in his head, what happened, and challenge him directly. Like in his last court section, he said that there is nothing to defend. It's time for Kano to defend himself because Justice Omotosho said there's a case to answer. So it's time to defend himself. And then he's now saying that he refused to open the defense, saying there's nothing to defend, that they should throw out this case. Talked about the jurisdiction of them to try him, that no court in Nigeria has the jurisdiction to try him. That is what Martin and the Kano said. You can see. So they should not go after Kano. They should go after the marginalization of the Igbos. The Igbos are being marginalized and solve those problems. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying into the end of this live section. Guys, thank you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video. So drop a comment below. So let's know what you're saying. Thank you. And I'll see you guys next time.